So hello, everyone. I'm very pleased and very honored to introduce this ASIPI webinar today, which is going to be based on experiences and certain uh, recent experiences of many of our members in ASIPI regarding their IP training at the University of New Hampshire, the Franklin Pierce School of Law. This webinar that is going to be dealing with the career impact and the IP programs of the Franklin Pierce Law School will discuss on exploring professional growth opportunities that the ASIPI members have been able to reach based on this chance of attending Franklin Pierce. And particularly for me, as I was saying, is something that honors me, and in the sense, I feel very honored. In the sense that I was a student at Franklin Pierce 28 years ago. Some of you probably were not yet born. And then a year after, I was invited as a lecturer for the IPSI program to present on trademarks and also the patent system in Central America. My experience at Franklin Pierce was, very, very special. I was kind of mentored by the past Carl Jorda. Carl Jorda was a great professor for more than 25 years, from my understanding, at Franklin Pierce. He passed away in May 2016. In 2007, Carl Jorda was inducted into the IP Hall of Fame. He was someone that has a great charisma that will, he will have that spirit of Franklin Pierce, in which the sharing of knowledge, of experiences, motivation, making everyone feel secure and capable of doing things. That was something that he would always, bring into us. With Carl, and Carl had, he had a background in the pharmaceutical area. He was the chief IP counsel at that time, the Ciba-Geigy, which became Novartis afterwards. And he was someone that was very, very, interested in getting everyone to learn about IP, and particularly to understand how IP could be used as a means, a tool for development, how to assist and help countries and communities. And he also, we became good friends with Carl at that time. And then he decided he was going to help us with, while at my time, at last year's, I will say 1998 through probably 2022, when I was doing some work for working with the USPTO and also with the USAID agency for IP matters in Central America, he accepted to work with us very closely and came to Central America as a lecturer and a professor. I put together a program during that time with and then that was probably one of the first activities of the Franklin Pierce Law Center in the region, because we were able to do a lot of capacity building and training in Central America. Franklin Pierce has always been there to reach for Latin America, to assist Latin America. And we are, very fortunate that under the leadership of Megan Carpenter and also with all the involvement of Sarah Dorner, Franklin Pierce has, turned more open to that contribution with Latin America. And it is very interesting, just to mention some numbers, that there has been more, at this point, 18 scholarships that have been, developed with Franklin Pierce, with ASIPI members. We started a cooperation agreement in 2022, under which there was this approach to open scholarships for ASIPI members. And we were very happy that just this year, 2025, we were able to renew the agreement, and now it is an agreement in force for more than 5 years, or for 5 years. Not only there are going to be the options for the scholarship, but also we now have a very, I will say, material, substantial benefit for ASIPI members that along with the scholarships, Franklin Pierce is also offering a 50% discount for ASIPI members for the MIP, the IPSI, and the LLM programs. So all of this is something very beneficial, is a unique opportunity, and I think that we need to continue spreading this. From my experience at Franklin Pierce, I can tell it's a mind-opening and eye-opening experience. You learn to see intellectual property in a 360-degree way, not only the specifics. You learn the specifics, but you learn also to play the strategy to understand how this generates value. So I will be wrapping up my words here, because otherwise I will get too enthusiastic about it. I will take the whole time of the webinar, but just wanted to share with you that, particularly for those of you who have not attended, to look at Franklin Pierce as a great option. I will say is probably the best option in my experience to get into the IP world with the detail and the strategy sense that we need to bring as professionals to companies and people involved in the IP world. So I won't say more. I would like to introduce Sarah Dorner. Sarah is the Assistant Dean for Graduate Admissions and International Outreach. And beyond that, she's a friend of Latin America. She's a friend of ASIPI. She's someone that has been enthusiastically promoting the scholarships, the work together. She's been, she's present always when we have activities in our seminars at mid-year and the end of the year activities. So it's someone that is going to be, directing this webinar and who knows ASIPI very well. She is very sensitive to the reality of our region, and someone that has been working together with Megan to make this more accessible to the region and to our members. So Megan and Sarah, great friends of ASIPI, people we love very much. And Sarah, I'm very happy and pleased to introduce you and give you the floor to coordinate this webinar. I know you have very interesting points to discuss. So again, on behalf of Luis Alejandro Enriquez, our president and the executive committee, a thanks to you, to Megan, to Franklin Pierce for believing in ASIPI and allowing us to be a bridge between our members and the opportunity of a great career formation in intellectual property. So welcome, Sarah. Welcome to the rest of the panelists, and thank you very much.
Thank you. That was such a warm, lovely introduction. I feel very moved. So thank you for sharing those words. I know Dean Carpenter would feel the same, and I know she's sorry that she couldn't be here with us in person today. She is traveling to, I believe, the INTA leadership meeting. But thank you so much. It has really been an honor and a privilege for us to partner with ASIPI in this way. We think of you as our friends, and all of the students who have come to us through the ASIPI network have just been phenomenal and such wonderful additions to our community while they're students with us and to our broader alumni network. So we are so grateful to ASIPI and so happy to have this opportunity today to bring back together some of the folks who participated in our LLM and our Intellectual Property Summer Institute as a result of having participated in the essay competition. So as you mentioned, we re-signed the agreement where we will offer a handful each year of full tuition scholarships for one for our hybrid JD in intellectual property technology and information law, 2 for our LLM and intellectual property, and 3 for our Intellectual Property Summer Institute each year. So that competition is now open. You have until, I believe, January 30th to submit your essay, and anyone on the ASIPI team or myself, we are happy to share more information about that opportunity if you're interested. And then, as Marco mentioned, we now also have tuition benefits for all ASIPI members. So a 50% tuition scholarship for the LLM Masters and IPSI programs, and then a 30% tuition scholarship for the mostly online hybrid J or hybrid JD program. So happy to share more about that. But with us today are some of our graduates from the LLM and Intellectual Property and the IP Summer Institute. And we thought it would be nice to bring people back together a couple of years since they've finished the program to just hear a little bit about not only the experience when they were in the program, but how it's benefited their careers since they wrapped up their education with us. So what I'd like to do is just start with let our panelists just each briefly introduce themselves. Maybe we'll start with the LLM graduates who are here. So Andres, would you be comfortable going first and just letting folks know who you are, where you're from, and what you do, and maybe when you completed the LLM program?
Sure, Sarah. Hello to everyone. Well, we're doing it in English, so time to go back to those ages of the LLM. Hello to everyone present in this webinar. My name is Andres Rodriguez. I'm a Colombian attorney. I am an UNH LLM alumni from 2023. Oh my God, now I forgot it. And so it's happy to be back. I own my own practice, focus on IP. So I love the program, and I just want to say to everyone here present, go for it if you want to have the chance. You never know.
Thank you. And Victor, do you want to go next?
Yes, of course. Hi, Sarah, Marco, Andres, thank you for the introduction and for the invitation to be here. It's always great to remember the year I spent in Concord with Sarah, with Andres, who was my classmate and close friend in those times. We went to UNH into 2023 and we graduated in 2024. And since then, I'm back to Brazil, where I work at Dunham Simpson. I work mostly with trademark litigation and prosecution, but all areas of IP. And I'll be glad to share for the next hour a bit of our experience. But I couldn't agree more with everything Marco said about how the program opens students' minds, which is absolutely fantastic. And I strongly encourage everyone to apply.
Thank you. And Alejandro, hi.
Hey Sarah, how are you? Hey guys, well, it is nice to be here, to have this chance to share our experiences, insights about the LLM program. It's also really nice to see Victor and Andres. We were close friends there and now, of course. So it's really nice to see their faces. This is a time to remember all that experience that we gained in the LLM program. So of course, this is a good chance for everyone that is joining the webinar to ask questions. And from my part, what I can tell you is that this is one of the best moments for you to take in your life. So if you have the chance to submit your paper and compete, that recommendation is just do it.
Thank you. And you're right, this is such a lovely reunion for us. I just can't stop smiling seeing your faces. So it's wonderful. So it's great to see you. Okay, so that's all of our LLM graduates who are here. So let's move to the folks who participated in our IP Summer Institute. Sophia, you made it in. Do you want to say a little bit about your background?
Yes, thank you, Sarah, and hi everyone. I'm now currently working on trademarks in a trademarks team at the Marval O'Farrell law firm. I took the IP summer course last year, and it was an incredible experience. Yes.
Thank you. And Laura?
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so my name is Laura Castillo. I'm from the Dominican Republic. I'm a Dominican attorney and recently a U.S. attorney as well. I had the great opportunity of attending the IPSI program together with Julissa and Juan. And yeah, it was a great opportunity. I'm currently partner at my firm. We offer full IP services in the Dominican Republic and the US as well.
Thank you. And Juan, we'll have you go next.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, everyone. As Laura mentioned, we took the first IPSI program together with Julissa and Laura, and it was an outstanding experience for me. Was the opportunity to have the experience to study and have an input on the concept in the US, and we did at that time the IPSI in Silicon Valley. So there was a lot of people coming in from different companies in the area, and it was a very interesting and a very interesting experience, and we had a great time at that time.
Thank you. Antonio.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Sarah. It's so nice to see a lot of familiar faces. Sophia, that was my colleague back at the IPSI. Well, I'm Antonio. I'm an associate at our Latin American desk here at Casnar Leonardo's. We are a Brazilian IP law firm. I mostly dedicated myself to cross-border enforcement / litigation on trademarks, but at the end of the day, mainly how we can operate intellectual property for foreign companies in our region.
Thank you. And you, Lisa, are you last but not least?
Oh, I'm the last one. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. I'm Julissa Farah. I am a Panamanian attorney. I am a partner currently at my law firm, Studio Benedetti. My practice is focused on trademark law. I also handle a lot of foreign applications, and I work with international registrations as well. I was one of the first awardees of the IPSI program that took place in Silicon Valley. I really enjoyed our time there. I was with Juan and with Laura, and that was an experience that is very dear to my heart. It was an incredible and enlightening educational experience. So it is great to be here and to be remembering our time there.
Thank you. And Julissa, you made a good point that when you did IPSI, you did not come to our law school. That IPSI that year was held in Silicon Valley, and then Antonio's group, they were actually with us in Concord, New Hampshire. So the way IPSI is structured is that we rotate. So one year we are at our campus, and then the next year we travel somewhere else. So last year we were in Seattle. So this year we will be back in Concord. And I'm happy to share more about that. But those plans are still being formed, but we'll have two sessions at the very end of May and the beginning of June. So for folks listening, stay tuned for more information about that. Okay, I have so much to talk with you all about, and I know we spent a long time just getting settled in. So, Juan, let me start with you because I know that you're tight on time with your other commitments today. I'm curious if you can share a little bit about how the program, the IPSI program that you participated in, influenced your career trajectory.
That was on me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You get to go first.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, one of the main aspects of the IPSI program, while it was taking also I'm kind of lost with my English words today. It was no me sale la palabra desafío.
A challenge. A challenge.
It was a big challenge to go to the US and have to go to this opportunity. it was really in right fulfillment the approach to get to know what was the point of view and the approach of the U.S. practitioners. We have a lot of practices, for example, in the area of licensing and different areas that was a total different way of approaching to the understanding of the case. Sí, creo que me voy a pasar al español porque probablemente están todos hablando en español y a mí me pareció muy enriquecedora la experiencia de poder tener un punto de vista de cómo es el mindset y la forma de abordar los casos en Estados Unidos y de los abogados americanos. No solo por la aplicación eh, de la teoría digamos, de la metodología de los casos y de la jurisprudencia, sino por la misma aplicación de la teoría del caso. Me pareció muy interesante, por ejemplo, en uno de los cursos que hicimos sobre licenciamiento, una serie de guías y herramientas que tenían los profesores que eran realmente muy detalladas de cómo abordar un licenciamiento en materia de innovación o un acuerdo de partnership. La verdad, había un nivel de profundidad y de estudio de casos muy interesante. Después, por supuesto, la experiencia en sí es enriquecedora y nosotros al estar en el Silicon Valley estábamos muy cerca de Napa Valley, así que pudimos hacer también una experiencia con el Wine Industry y todo lo que fueron las denominaciones de origen, cómo es el enfoque y cómo esa área también se convirtió del vino a el cannabis y cómo esas dos industrias están buscando también desarrollar sus denominaciones de origen y la tendencia en ese sentido. La verdad que la experiencia fue muy interesante, esa clase en particular fue muy enriquecedora también y bueno, nosotros en el estudio nos permitió pensar y comenzar a desarrollar esa área de práctica con un enfoque 360 en la industria del vino y de los espirituosos. Así que bueno, espero que los que están acá apliquen y puedan compartir en estas experiencias que tuvimos.
Thank you. Thank you. Andres, I wonder if you, from the LLM perspective, want to share a little bit about your experience in the LLM program and how that's impacted your career trajectory in just the 2 years since you graduated.
Ok, bueno, me cambio al español ya que tenemos una buena traducción. Pues obviamente un LLM es mucho más diferente al IPSI, no solo en términos de tiempo, sino también en términos de la exposición a material. Siendo un abogado que viene de un país como Colombia, la verdad, tener la oportunidad de estudiar bajo un sistema de IP de los principales del mundo como es Estados Unidos, yo creo que ya es una ganancia para todos. Empezar a entender cómo es el manejo en regulaciones de materias que nosotros tal vez como en esta área consideramos básicas como derecho de autor, marcas, patentes, pero también tener la oportunidad de acceder a materias sobre las cuales el LLM provee acceso. Por ejemplo, derecho del arte siempre va a ser de mis favoritas y es un área que la verdad yo creo que es de las menos explotadas en IP. Uno también ve pues derecho del entretenimiento de una forma mucho más amplia. Entonces, creo que primero ese programa me permitió tener una perspectiva mucho más abierta de lo que es la API. Y no solo la API en su sentido natural, sino ahora que hablamos con ella, todos los fallos relevantes que vienen de Estados Unidos impactan la forma en cómo nosotros brindamos consejos a los clientes que quieren llevar esos modelos de inteligencia artificial. Entonces yo creo que a todos los que estamos aquí presentes tal vez nos dio una delantera en ese mundo para entender, oye, yo no tengo ya la oportunidad o la facultad de solo analizar mi legislación nacional a la que estoy acostumbrado, sino también la de un país líder. Entonces yo creo que eso es uno de los puntos más importantes. Y otro es muy importante, digamos, influenció mi carrera profesional en el sentido de que me permitió conocer y aún conocer a personas de todo el mundo. A muchos de los aquí presentes los considero amigos, colegas, los he tenido la oportunidad de conocer en persona, he tenido la oportunidad de asistir a conferencias internacionales en calidad ya de speaker o de moderador. Entonces, uno arranca de de una forma de que tal vez, oye, yo soy un abogado nacional de Haití, pero ya uno empieza a tener una perspectiva mucho más internacional, no solo de su conocimiento, sino también de su rol y de su posicionamiento. Entonces yo creo que es muy importante no solo mirar los beneficios académicos, sino los beneficios desde el lado personal y profesional. Entonces, como decía Juan, anímese a la persona. Yo puedo decir que yo pensé que no iba a quedar, uno nunca sabe, y mírame aquí luego, años después.
I remember you. It was like very last minute. You had other plans, and then it all came together. And it sounds like no regrets for you. So I'm happy to know that. Yeah. Thank you. Laura, let me turn to you. I'm curious if there's any specific skills or knowledge that you gained during the program that have been valuable to you and the work that you do. Any IP concepts or frameworks that you learned during your time at IPSI that you're using in your work?
Sí, definitivamente. Bueno, me tocó la oportunidad de visitar o viajar a Silicon Valley y tener este programa súper diferente con conceptos de derecho totalmente diferentes. No solamente las denominaciones de origen con el tema de visitar los viñedos, pero todavía más profundos y más diferentes como son el space law y cannabis y cómo el cannabis y space law se unen con la propiedad intelectual. Entonces, tener esa perspectiva de el derecho y de la propiedad intelectual más allá de lo tradicional definitivamente me ayuda en mi día a día con clientes que capaz están trabajando en industrias que son disruptivas, que son diferentes, que no son tradicionales y pues me ayuda, me abre la curiosidad un poco para indagar más, investigar más, leer más y adaptarme pues a una estrategia legal de propiedad intelectual que no es tradicional en lo absoluto. Entonces participar en el programa en IPSI me ayuda cada día en ese sentido.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And you talked about kind of, I think what sets our law school apart is that it's not just trademarks and copyrights and patents, that we're really looking to stay ahead of the next thing, taking a very broad approach to intellectual property. And so you, Lisa, I'd be curious to hear about your experience at IPSI and how it helped you stay current in what is really an evolving field.
Hi, Sarah. Okay, I'm gonna say it in Spanish. I know that the translation is going good, so I'm having my response in Spanish. Definitivamente, el término de fast pace o fast evolving es muy apropiado para definir cómo es la propiedad intelectual, que realmente está en constante evolución y ha estado durante las últimas décadas en constante evolución y en rápida evolución. Siento que toda mi vida ha transcurrido en sincronía con la evolución de la era de la información y este ritmo acelerado con el que he crecido con el que ha crecido mi generación me hace, pues es la clave de por qué el programa que escogí es el IPSI, el Summer Institute. El IPSI incluía un repertorio de temas totalmente relacionados con el cambio actual que estamos teniendo hacia la inteligencia artificial y los avances tecnológicos que estamos experimentando hoy en día, con temas como Data as an Asset, IP Licensing and Monetization, los IPSI Talks que hicieron del programa aún más interesante, que fue prácticamente una sorpresa para todos. Los IPSI Talks eran pequeñas charlas que teníamos durante los lunch entre clases y cada uno estaba liderado pues se exponían con ponentes de primer nivel Hubo IPSI Talks de los aspectos legales de la inteligencia artificial en términos de derecho de autor. Hubo IPSI Talks del rescate del Silicon Valley Bank, que era una noticia que estaba bastante reciente en el momento en que estábamos en el Summer Institute. Luego, la industria de los semiconductores, el hecho de poder escuchar en un ambiente, en un environment educacional sobre los semiconductores, estando en Silicon Valley, fue una experiencia enriquecedora completamente. Con seguridad les puedo decir que haber podido estar allí y participar en el programa me dio una ventaja y me permitió avanzar y estar un step ahead en cuanto a la comprensión de lo que iba a suceder o la predicción de lo que iba a suceder en los años siguientes. Yo asistí al IPSI en el año 2023, la gente estaba empezando a hablar de la inteligencia artificial, mientras que nosotros, Juan, Laura y yo, estábamos en Silicon Valley ya en un ambiente educativo, aprendiendo sobre la inteligencia artificial. Entonces, fue definitivamente una gran experiencia.
Thank you. Yeah, I think one of the benefits of IPSI is that the classes change every year, as right. We talk about that IP is changing all the time. You mentioned that you were kind of taking classes in AI before it kind of exploded here. And so I think it's awesome that people can really keep coming back to IPSI and learning new things every year. So thank you for sharing that. Sophia, let me turn to you because I know you're in a newer role now. So I'm curious to hear how IPSI may have opened doors to opportunities you might not have had otherwise.
Okay, well, first, I forgot to say that I'm from Argentina. Yes, so totally the program opened doors. To be honest, this experience and actually the scholarship was something I wouldn't have even imagined possible. I don't come from a bilingual school background, so I wasn't one of those people who grew up speaking perfect English. And so before the program, yes, I used to work with English speaking clients occasionally, but it certainly wasn't most of my work, and I wouldn't have felt comfortable handling highly complex legal matters with them. But now I feel confident doing so. This experience, the IP Summer Institute, directly led to an opportunity for me to start working at a firm where most of the clients are international and English speaking. So yes, the program truly opened doors.
That's awesome. Thank you. It's so great to hear that. Okay, we talked a little bit about the direct kind of career impact, and I know some of you when you introduced yourselves also mentioned kind of this personal transformation that you had during the program. So Victor, we heard from some IPSI people, so I'll turn to an LLM person now. I'd be curious to hear from you a little bit about how participating in the LLM program maybe changed your perspective on the field of IP, and especially when it comes to the opportunity you had to gain a global perspective.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. So first of all, I'd say that everyone who has the opportunity, regardless of the area of law, to study in the US, I'd go for it. And I think that's especially true for IP, because as we all know, this is one of the most international areas of law, definitely. So even if your practice is local, it is great to understand how other jurisdictions deal with something. And the US, as a leading country in economy and in innovation in many areas, it's definitely taking the first place in many discussions. For example, now I know that in the US, we have more than 50 lawsuits regarding the intersection between copyright and AI. And in Brazil, we just have one big case and maybe a few other smaller discussions. So it is great to be there and understand how everything works. From my perspective, specifically as Sophia, I work mostly with US clients. So it was great to understand IP from an American perspective. because I can not only share how the law works in Brazil, but also compare it to the US system. And while IP is very international, there are important differences between them, especially on trademarks, and I'm sharing patents as well. So as I said before, I strongly encourage everyone to go for it. And regarding the LLM specifically, I know the IPSI is great, but what I can say about the LLM, as Andres said, it is very hands-on. So that's another reason why I'd apply, because you will not only read cases and discuss about the cases deeply, which is fantastic and very important, but also understand on how to draft memos, legal opinions, and how it works. So that's what I can share.
Thank you, Victor. And you know, as you're speaking, I'm thinking, gosh, like you should come and do IPSI now. So just because you've come through the LLM program doesn't mean your education with Franklin Pierce needs to end there. Well, you might not be able to do the ASIPI essay competition. The benefits for our ASIPI members would extend. And we've really worked to keep IPSI affordable for people from outside the US so that you can come. IPSI's designed that you can kind of pick and choose the classes. You could take one, you could take two. And the current rate is just $500 per class. But as an ASIPI member, you know, all of you who are panelists or who are watching today would be eligible for a 50% discount for the IPSI classes. So I don't mean to make a hard sell here, but I'm thinking, like, as we said, those classes change every year. And we have alumni who return for those programs and love to welcome them back. So
yeah, and the purposes of the programs are very different, right, Sarah? While the LLM is more focused on the foundations of IP, foundations of trademark law, and the first cases in the US back to other centuries. So the IPSI is more focused on hot topics and the new discussion. So I totally agree that they are complementary in a certain sense, and there's no reason for doing just one of them, right?
yep. Exactly. That's a great, I think, way to kind of explain the difference. And of course, you know, the IPSI it's also short. So it's very accessible for people who are working. Not everyone has the ability to leave their job and come for a year to do the LLM. Though we do have some ASIPI people who've pursued the LLM online as well to give them that flexibility to stay in their jobs. But it's certainly a bigger commitment of time, the full degree program. So thank you for sharing those thoughts. Laura, is there anything that you would want to add in terms of any way that your perspective on IP changed during your time at IPSI and gaining that global perspective?
Totalmente. Sí, por el hecho de haber tenido la oportunidad justamente de tomar esas clases disruptivas o de temas atípicos, eso pues me abrió la mente a pensar qué tan dinámico es el mundo de la propiedad intelectual, a explorar temas que son totalmente diferentes, a ver cómo la propiedad intelectual se adapta a otros temas, a otras industrias, cómo yo pienso que el curso es pensado para que los alumnos puedan entender que la propiedad intelectual es totalmente, bueno, que cubre totalmente todos los aspectos de la vida, literalmente. Y los profesores, compartir con los profesores que son muy expertos, muy especializados en cada uno de los temas, pienso que es muy valioso.
Thank you. Thank you. Andres, let me go back to you, if that's okay. And I'm curious if you can share a little bit about how the program influenced your approach to things like collaboration, negotiation, or advocacy.
Sure, great question. Well, bueno, al español, porque para ver, cuando yo había hecho el LLM, pues ya había tenido la oportunidad de tener años de práctica, lo cual creo que es un beneficio, tal vez no saltar de un pregrado a un LLM, aunque cada persona hace su propio camino. Uno tiene una perspectiva diferente, pero creo que el LLM a uno no solo le da conocimientos, sino entendimiento de otro tipo de culturas por el acceso que tienes a personas que no son solo de Estados Unidos, sino otras partes del mundo, y puedes entender otros puntos de vista tal vez a los que uno está acostumbrado en su propia cultura. Entonces, esos approaches o conocimientos son muy importantes para dar cuando uno está evaluando negociaciones a nivel internacional, porque pues ya tienes un acercamiento a esa cultura y ese entendimiento. Entonces yo creo que esas son cosas que a uno no te dicen que te van a enseñar, pero son cosas que puedes llevarte del LLM. Entonces, esa sería, digamos, como la primera parte. Y al final sí creo que es todas esas características que tú comentaste son desarrollos que la persona puede tener en la forma en que decida sacarle provecho al LLM. Yo creo que de tipo personal, varios de esos puntos los pude mejorar porque al final el LLM, yo decía, era como mi año sabático, luego de haber trabajado tantos años de seguido, pero igual es un año donde uno trabaja de una forma diferente. Entonces, todo eso apunta al crecimiento profesional que todos podemos llegar a tener y es importante.
Thank you. Thank you. I think, and Sophia had mentioned earlier kind of gaining confidence in her English language skills, which allowed her to move into a new role. Julissa, how would you say that the program helped shape your confidence?
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, I think I can answer in English this time. I'm gonna practice my English, although I almost, I mean, a great percentage of my clients are English speaking. It is always different with emails than to practice speaking it. Okay, it really gave me a boost of confidence. Being awarded a scholarship from Franklin Pierce School of Law is in recognition of my work, because this was un concurso. Being recognized as a winner also from a prestigious IP organization such as ASIPI was definitely a confidence booster. And it is with great pride that I say it. I'm very proud to be considered an alum of Franklin Pierce and a scholarship winner from ASIPI. The fact that I got to engage with seasoned professionals, with senior IP directors, not in a business environment as you would rather be in, for example, INTA or ASIPI, but in an educational environment, was the most important aspect for me regarding participating in the IPSI. And to understand what the other side expects, I mean the other side as potential clients or outside counsels as myself, it has influenced how I approach high stakes IP matters since I was participating at the IPSI. So it was a really enlightening experience.
Thank you. Andres, I worry that I maybe cut you off too soon there. So I just want to circle back and see if there's anything else you wanted to offer in regards to kind of personal growth you experienced during the program.
Well, now that Julissa mentioned it, I think having the opportunity, I think one of the biggest personal growth that you have is when you read so much English at the beginning, it's hard. You have to read 2 times, 3 times. You're like, oh my God, I'm lost. I'm going to survive the year or not. And then you start seeing that you can read and analyze in another language, in another set of law, which is different from mine, in a more effective way. And now I think it's one of the biggest tools or personal growth that I could have, that I could have US rulings and identify in a more efficient way what to read. And I don't have to keep worrying about maybe I am not getting things, because it's normal when you start studying in another language, the language barrier, even if you speak English in a business level or in a social level, in an academic level, the thing just goes another way. Well, I responded in English, so you see, it worked on it just naturally. Now my day-to-day is almost English, and I sometimes even forget it. So I think that's one of the biggest personal growths that you could have, and that I also previously I was a little bit more, when speaking in English, having to worry a little bit about, well, if I am speaking correctly. I speak like Sofia Vergara, many people told me in the LLM, so I'm like, do I communicate myself well to people? And now I have the opportunity to speak all the times, not only in meetings, but in forums in English. And I think that I don't even worry about if my English is being understood. So communications and understanding as personal growth really necessary for a lawyer and any person.
Yeah, I think that is one of those kind of, you come for the education itself, right? You're coming for the degree, for the IP knowledge, but the additional benefits that come from that immersion in English, the confidence that you gain in speaking in English and in public speaking, that really will serve you throughout your career is just huge. So thank you for mentioning that. And I know we talked at the beginning, looking at all of our panelists here today, about just the network that you gain through being a part of the Franklin Pierce community. And I'm thinking even just all of you within ASIPI, it's like you're friends now, and maybe you didn't know each other before you came to do IPSI or the LLM. And so, Antonio, let me turn to you to have you share a little bit about the kind of connections that you made during IPSI. And if those might have influenced your practice or your career.
Absolutely. Well, when we talk about the field of intellectual property, and this is a very personal reflection on how our field of practice is specifically, and I know some of my colleagues already mentioned the international aspect of it, and of course, it's one of the most international fields of the law, but specifically how the job comes, at least for outside counsels. I guess the majority of us works in law firms. We rely a lot on cooperation. So a lot on cooperation between law firms, a lot on cooperation between colleagues. And this is not only on the work itself, but rather on the personal growth of one. So for example, when we attended EPT, and yes, it's a shorter period of time than the LLM program, but at the same time, we had the opportunity to study and to be close to the community that were doing the JD program. And I think we got very close to them. And very often when I have some sort of
I think Antonio froze. We lost him. Okay, we'll go back to him if he's able to rejoin. But while we wait, Victor,
I
let me.
just got back.
Oh, you're
I'm
back.
so
Okay.
sorry, you guys. I don't know
No,
what happened. The Zoom app just,
it
and then I
happened.
was gone.
Please continue. Go. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So every time that I got some sort of question about a very specific point, and I want to like just know how this is being treated locally in the US, I come back to some of my colleagues that are actually attorneys there that I met on the IPSI program. And well, can you help me understand this? How are you treating this over there so I can give my best counsel here, not only a literal translation of local law, but rather how can I approach this question in a way that it's more palatable, more understandable for my in-house counsel, for my client, or whatsoever. So this is one of the points that in terms of networking, networking is not only about, well, at least in my opinion, professional, but it starts off as a friendship, right? And then you grow. And someone once said in India, it's very hard to fire a friend. So this is something that I stuck with me, and I just I'm very close to this philosophy.
Thank you. And it is interesting. I think with IPSI, it often overlaps with an in-person learning opportunity for the students in our hybrid JD program. And those students are typically working professionals who have years of kind of
Yes.
IP adjacent work. And so you're in class with these people who are bringing their professional experiences to the classroom. And Similarly, for our LLM students, they get to take classes with our residential JD students. So it's not just that you're only with IPSI people or only with LLM, that you become part of the broader law community.
And the broader law community, it's very great because I see on Franklin Pierce this initiative to get really a network that will not end when the academic scholar or your scholar experience finishes. For example, our receptions on our congresses. So we had the opportunity to rejoin with everyone back in INTA this year, for past year actually, right? No, this year. Yeah, this year on our alumni reception, and we got the opportunity to meet new alumni, and it just goes on, and it's very great.
Yeah, I think it becomes hard to escape the Franklin Pierce network when you're at ASIPI events or INTA events. So yeah, excellent. Victor, did you want to add anything to that question about connections that you made and how they've influenced your practice?
Yeah, first of all, I think everything Antonio said was great. So being part of the community is definitely one of the assets you get when you join the LLM or the IPSI. As Antonio said, there are receptions every year in INTA, and it's great not only to see your friends again, your colleagues, but also to make new connections, because I feel that who goes to Franklin Pierce wants to work with other former students as well, because they know how strong the academic background is. So that's something to consider. And once you're there for the LLM, and Andres, for example, knows that very well, there are many things going on. You have classes, you have lecturers, dinners, events in general. I remember that Andres was in all of those events. And it's kind of natural how you develop new connections and how you become friends, not only with your LLM classmates, but also with the JD residents. And in my case specifically, one of the connections I was able to make was with our trademark professor at that time. And then after the program, when it was about to finish, when I was about to graduate, he invited me to work with him for a while. So I had the chance to work for a Boston law firm before coming back to Brazil. And it was great because I was able to put in practice what I had just learned. So, and I'm still in contact with him. We are doing business. I mean, I rely on his expertise there when I need. He also, if his clients have something in Brazil, he messages me. So it's great to have this kind of connection. And again, I'm being repetitive, but I strongly encourage everyone to apply.
Victor, I don't know if you saw, but we actually just had a question about if any of the LLM graduates had a chance to get some work experience in the US. So you've already answered that for us, so thank you.
Yeah, and if the person, I cannot see the question here in the chat, but feel free to message me after the webinar. I'll be glad to discuss. I know that some of these students, they do the bar exam as well, which was not my case, but this is a possibility with the LLM, so it's something to explore.
Thank you. I'm mindful of the fact that we have only 3 minutes left. So what I want to do is first just remind everyone about the essay competition that is now open. There's information on the ASIPI website about that, and the due date for essays is at the end of January. And then, of course, there's the tuition benefits for all ASIPI members. It is not too late for anyone who wants to start in our online program this January. We are still accepting applications for the online LLM and masters. And then information about IPSI this June will be, it's developing now. We'll continue to update our website. And applications are open for our in-person programs that begin next August. So let me conclude with any final thoughts, or I think some of you in your introductions already kind of gave some advice, but any words of wisdom to ASIPI members watching who are considering pursuing an IP educational program with Franklin Pierce. Julissa, do you want to go first? And I won't make everyone answer, but just feel free to unmute yourself if you have something you want to add before we conclude.
Thank you, Sarah. I will be very brief because I know we are out of time and I'm really short on words. But just to encourage everyone at ASIPI, you need to participate. You never lose. If you write an essay and you investigate and really investigate and submerge yourself in the topic that you have chosen, you never lose. And with the option that we have 50% off from tuition in all programs, not just for participating in the scholarship, but for everyone at ASIPI, that's an opportunity that we shouldn't miss. I am considering participating again for the IPSI maybe next year. And thank you, Sarah, for having us. And I encourage everyone to join.
Thank you. I do want to thank all of our panelists. I know you're all so busy, and it means a lot that you take the time to come back and share about your experience and that you feel so strongly about it that you want to make sure others know and can have the opportunity themselves. So thank you for giving of your time today and sharing your personal stories with us. Any other thoughts from any panelists?
Yo agrego una cosa, sé que estamos cerrando, pero bueno, una de mis preocupaciones cuando me anoté el IPSI era con qué seniority me iba a encontrar, y lo que me pareció muy interesante es que la mayoría de las personas con las que me tocó ser compañeros de curso eran personas que ya tenían alguna otra carrera y esta era su segunda carrera y lo hacían como disparador. Era mucha gente del LLM que venía a hacer el IPSI program. Eh, entonces había la posibilidad de compartir muchas experiencias profesionales ya en una etapa muy avanzada de las carreras de las personas. Eso me pareció muy valioso, que era algo que yo no me esperaba que ocurriera y que me pareció muy interesante para destacar.
Thank you. Anybody? I don't see anyone else unmuted.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Alejandro.
Yes. So I didn't have the chance to maybe share some insights about the program, but now that we are closing the webinar, in Spanish. Entonces, bueno, creo que por la emoción no me llegué a presentar, porque al ver a Víctor y a Andrés después de tiempo verles las caras. Bueno, yo soy de Lima, Perú, tuve la oportunidad de competir, presentar el S y bueno, fui uno de los afortunados de tener esa experiencia. Creo yo que hay un aspecto bastante interesante que te da el programa, porque claro, nosotros estamos en Latinoamérica, son sistemas totalmente distintos, pero lo bueno también de tener el programa es que te da la flexibilidad y ahora algunos cursos para luego, ya en caso uno desee, poder acceder y dar el examen de la barra allá en Estados Unidos y poder ejercer allá. Entonces, eso también es importante tenerlo mapeado como una oportunidad para expandir sus profesiones, sus horizontes personales y profesionales, ¿no? Creo que eso es muy importante también tenerlo en cuenta, ¿no? Como un beneficio que puede darte el programa en caso es algo que también estés buscando. Gracias.
Thank you. I'll pause just to see if anybody else wants to jump in, because I know we are at time. Excellent. Well, again, thank you to all of our panelists for coming today to share about your experience at UNH Franklin Pierce and the LLM program or the IP Summer Institute. We really appreciate you being here. And I know I invite people watching to reach out to me with any questions, and I know some of our panelists have already extended that offer as well. So thank you. Giselle, did you want to say anything before we conclude?
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you all for taking the time to participate today. As Marco said, our association with Franklin Pierce is one of the most important things we have, and it's something we are very happy and proud about. I'm just going to turn into Spanish to do our closing remarks. So, muchas gracias a todos los que participaron el día de hoy. Los que no pudieron participar podrán encontrar la grabación del presente webinar en nuestras redes sociales. Quisiéramos invitarlos al webinar de la semana entrante, que será el último webinar de este año, que es sobre el acuerdo de validación de patentes con la Oficina Europea de Patentes y Costa Rica, y cuáles son las consideraciones e impacto. También recordarles que mañana vamos a tener nuestro seminario virtual del Comité de Antipiratería de ASIPI, entonces los invitamos a que nos puedan acompañar. Por último, recordarles que están abiertas aún las inscripciones a nuestro congreso en Buenos Aires, que será del 30 de noviembre al 3 de diciembre. Ojalá se puedan registrar y nos puedan acompañar. Y por último, agradecerles siempre a nuestros patrocinadores institucionales por el apoyo que nos dan a lo largo de todo el año. Thank you so much, Sarah, and we'll see you in Buenos Aires. Hasta luego.